Most people don't understand how life works. They believe tragedy comes without warning, that disaster strikes from nowhere. But that is never the case. Before anything breaks on the outside, there are signs. Before death arrives, it whispers. Before tragedy strikes, there is always a warning. Always. But the truth is uncomfortable. The signs were there long before you fell. The moments you felt something was wrong. The tension you ignored. The repeated pain you excused. The discomfort you covered up. These were not accidents. These were not random. These were death warnings, messages sent to wake you up before something inside you died. But you didn't listen. You turned away. You silenced them. When you start to ignore the signs, you begin to move toward destruction. Slowly, quietly, you walk toward collapse. It doesn't begin with chaos. It begins with neglect. A small voice inside tells you to stop. You don't. A habit begins to poison your days. You continue. Your mind grows heavy. You distract yourself. Your energy becomes toxic. You keep pushing forward. That is how the end begins. That is how death arrives. Not with noise, but with ignorance. A warning is not something to fear. It is a chance. It is the final moment where change is still possible. But this moment doesn't last forever. It will pass. And once it passes, the door closes. Then pain comes. Then regret follows. And once regret enters, there is no turning back. If your body hurts, that's a sign. If your mind is always tired, that's a sign. If your life feels stuck, repetitive, dull, another sign. If every morning feels the same, you're not alive. You're surviving, and survival without awareness leads to destruction. That is the message. That is the death warning. Are you listening? People wait for things to get worse before they act. But when things get worse, it's already late. So that's not the moment to change. The moment to change is when the first sign appears, when the body resists, when the sleep is restless, when the motivation fades, when joy disappears. These are not symptoms of stress. They are symptoms of misalignment. You're no longer in harmony. You've left the path. You've disconnected from who you really are. The world will not warn you twice. It will send the message once, and if you don't hear it, it will teach you with pain. This is how life disciplines the unaware, not because it hates you, but because it needs you to wake up. You were not born to waste this life. You were not born to sleepwalk through your days. But that is what you do when you ignore the signs. You want clarity. Face the warning. You want growth. Listen when the signs appear. You want to live a life that matters. Then pay attention. Death doesn't always mean the end of your body. Sometimes it means the death of your passion, your truth, your vision, your purpose. And when those things die, life becomes hollow. That is a tragedy worse than any physical loss. You're alive, but already gone. Look back at your life. The warnings were there. The signs were clear. But you chose comfort over change. You chose distraction over awareness. You chose routine over truth. And now you feel the emptiness. Now you feel the heaviness. That is not depression. That is your soul trying to wake you up. It is screaming while you're still pretending nothing is wrong. Every day is a message. Every emotion is a signal. Every frustration is an alert. These are the ways life tries to redirect you. If you are wise, you will listen. If you are brave, you will change. If you are honest, you will stop lying to yourself. The signs are not outside. They are inside. And until you respond to them, nothing will change. Do not wait for disaster. Do not wait for tragedy. Do not wait until something breaks that you cannot fix. The death warning is now. The sign is this moment. What you feel right now, this is it. This is the moment before everything either transforms or falls apart. Which bet will you take? Your habits are speaking to you. Your results are showing you the truth. Your relationships are reflecting your state of being. Do you see it, or are you still pretending everything is fine? Pretending is expensive. It costs you time. It costs you energy. It costs you your life. There is no escape from the consequences of ignorance. There is no way to run from truth. It will find you. It will confront you. And the longer you avoid it, the louder it becomes. Until one day, the sign becomes reality. And by then, the lesson is not a warning anymore. It's a punishment. Act now. Reflect now. Change now. The sign has already come. This is your message. This is the last whisper before something breaks. Take it seriously. Or the next thing you experience may not be a lesson. It may be the collapse. Grow now. Change now. Because the death warning is already here. Before tragedy touches your life, something else dies first. Not your body, not your health, not your status. What dies first is meaning. When you lose the sense of why you wake up, why you move, why you fight. That's the first death. That is the true warning. That is the silent sign nobody talks about. It doesn't scream, it doesn't crash, it fades quietly, slowly, until one day you look in the mirror and there's no fire in your eyes. This is the death warning most people miss. They keep chasing goals. They keep filling their days with tasks. But deep inside, something is gone. Purpose, direction, truth. You can still function without these things, but you can't live. You become a machine, efficient, productive, but empty. And that emptiness is not harmless. It spreads, it rots you from the inside, and eventually it breaks everything. You think death only comes at the end of life. No, it comes earlier. It begins when you start living without soul. When you start doing things just to survive, when your actions have no emotion, when your work has no heart, when your words have no weight. That's the real death. And once meaning is lost, the rest of the collapse is only a matter of time. Life gives signs before the body breaks. Life gives signs before tragedy enters. But the first and most important sign is internal, a dullness, a heaviness, a silence inside. You no longer feel connected to what you do. You no longer care how your day ends. You no longer ask deep questions. You just float. That's the death warning. That's the call to change. If your days look the same and your heart feels nothing, understand this. You're not just bored. You're not just tired. You're disconnected. The bridge between you and your purpose has cracked, and you're standing on the edge pretending nothing's wrong, but everything is wrong. And if you don't fix it now, something else will break soon. That's how tragedy begins, not with a storm, but with the death of your why. This world convinces people to live for goals that mean nothing. Positions, possessions, applause. But even when you win those things, if you don't have meaning, you feel nothing. And when you feel nothing, you are already in danger. You think tragedy is losing your job, losing a relationship. No, tragedy is when you lose yourself and you don't even notice. There is no peace in living without meaning. There is no strength in movement without direction. You can build the perfect image, but if your soul is empty, it will all collapse. That collapse is not punishment. It is correction. It is life reminding you, this is not the way. This is not how you're supposed to live. The sign comes when you start asking, "Oh, what am I even doing?" The warning comes when you stop feeling joy, when effort becomes obligation, when your inner world feels distant. So, that's when the death begins. And if you ignore that sign, life will give you a louder one. It will shake your world until you open your eyes, until you remember what matters. Don't wait for the collapse. Don't wait for something precious to leave your life before you reflect. Do it now. Ask yourself what gives your life meaning, what fuels your soul, what makes your time sacred. If you cannot answer, you are in danger. You are not safe. You are not stable, because a life without meaning has no roots. It has no foundation. It can be destroyed by anything. The most dangerous thing is not that external chaos. It's internal silence, the silence where your fire used to burn. That's what you need to confront. That's what you must fix. The death warning is not outside. It's in you. It's in the way your voice sounds when you speak about your life. It's in the way you look when no one is watching. That tells the truth. That shows the real state of your soul. You don't need more motivation. You need alignment. You need to reconnect with what makes life worth living. That's not something anyone can give you. It's something you must discover again, or everything you build will crumble, no matter how strong it looks without meaning. It's already weak, so don't waste this warning. Don't ignore the feeling that something is missing. That feeling is the first gift. It's the sign before tragedy, the whisper before the storm. Act now, reflect now, rebuild your meaning, because once that dies, everything else is just performance. Grow, realign, come back to yourself. You're not here to function. You're here to live fully, with presence, with power, with depth. And if that's missing, no success will satisfy you. No relationship will fulfill you. No achievement will save you. Life has given you a warning. The death of meaning is the first sign. Don't let it be the last. A death warning is not a threat. It's not punishment. It is a final opportunity, a last door. Life doesn't destroy without giving signs. It always sends a message before it takes something away. The problem is most people don't listen. They are too distracted, too numb, too addicted to routine. And by the time they realize it was a warning, it's already too late. Tragedy has entered. Collapse has begun. But understand this clearly. Every sign you receive is a chance to change. The discomfort in your body, the emptiness in your mind, the restlessness in your heart. These are not accidents. These are messages, not to destroy you, but to save you. The sign before tragedy is not life being cruel. It's life offering you one last chance, one last opening. Before it shuts the door and shows you what consequences feel like. Most people treat these signs like noise. They complain. They run away. They distract themselves. But what they're really doing is ignoring their own rescue. They're rejecting their last moment of clarity. The death warning was never meant to scare you. It was meant to wake you up. If it feels uncomfortable, good. That's the point. Change does not come through comfort. It comes through confrontation. When your energy feels off, listen. When people around you start to shift away, notice. When your body feels drained for no reason, observe. These are not coincidences. These are signs, death warnings. The tragedy has not happened yet, but it will. Unless you act, unless you take this moment seriously. You've been given enough time. You've had enough reminders. The universe doesn't repeat itself forever. Eventually, the signs stop, not because things got better, but because the lesson is over. And then comes the event, the loss, the break, the pain. And by then, there is no more warning. There is only reality. You have to ask yourself, why wait until that moment? Why do you need to lose everything to finally wake up? Why do you choose collapse over correction? The truth is uncomfortable because the sign was already there. It's been there for weeks, for months, sometimes for years. But you refused to accept it. This is how most people live. They live asleep. They wait until the damage is real before they act. But that's not strength. That's blindness. True strength is responding to the first whisper, not the final scream. If the sign has come to you now, that means you still have time. That means it's not too late. But you must act. You must change. Because the longer you wait, the smaller your chances become. Stop calling it bad luck. Stop blaming circumstances. The signs were clear. The warning was loud. But you buried it under entertainment, comfort, noise. And now the cracks are starting to show. You feel it. Something is off. Something is coming. That's the death warning. That's your signal. Don't run. Don't escape. Face it, this is your moment. This is your opportunity. The tragedy hasn't happened yet. That means you can still stop it. You can realign. You can reset. But only if you're honest. Only if you stop lying to yourself. Because the biggest lie is thinking you can keep living the same way and still expect a better outcome. You already know what needs to change. You already feel what's missing. You just keep avoiding it. But avoidance is expensive. It costs you peace. It costs you time. It costs you life. You are paying every day for the change you refuse to make. So what's the lesson? Don't fear the warning. Respect it. Don't resist the sign. Learn from it. The warning is the blessing. The pain is the signal. The pressure is the message. Don't reject what's meant to help you. When a person receives a sign and acts on it, they avoid the tragedy. When a person receives a sign and ignores it, they become the victim of their own denial. Which one are you? Are you waiting for the breakdown to be real, or are you willing to rise before you fall? This is the last moment before the shift. This is the last quiet space before life shakes everything. The sign has arrived. What you do now will determine everything that comes next. Either you grow or you suffer. Either you listen or you learn the hard way, but the choice will be made. That's the truth. So don't pretend, don't delay. This is your death warning, not to destroy you, but to invite you to become someone new, to stop sleepwalking, to take back your time, to take back your strength. Everything in you already knows its time. Everything around you is showing it. Will you wait for pain to teach you? Or will you let the sign be enough? This is not fear. This is awakening. This is not the end. It's the door before the fall. And it's still open, but not for long. Comfort is the real enemy, not chaos, not pain, not hardship. Comfort is what destroys you without making a sound. It steals your strength silently. It makes you blind to the signs. You stop noticing the small cracks. You stop feeling the warnings. You sleep while your life burns quietly in the background. The most dangerous place to be is not in pain. The most dangerous place is comfort with no awareness. That's when the death warning comes and you don't even hear it. You think you're safe. You think you're doing fine. But underneath, you're decaying. Slowly, softly. Comfort hides it all. Signs come in many forms. Restlessness, disconnection, a sense that time is slipping, that your energy is flat. But when you're addicted to comfort, you ignore it, you explain it away. You think you're just tired. You say it's just temporary. But it's not. It's a warning. And the price for ignoring that warning is collapse. Most people don't feel the death warning because their comfort has into blindness. You feel no urgency. You feel no pressure to grow. You convince yourself everything is okay because nothing is exploding. But tragedy doesn't always explode. Sometimes it unfolds slowly, quietly, without permission, until one day you wake up and everything is gone, your focus, your strength, your discipline, your meaning, all lost to the trap of comfort. It starts small, you skip one commitment, you let one bad habit slide, you avoid one uncomfortable truth, and it feels fine because nothing breaks immediately, but something does begin to die, and that something is your awareness. Once awareness fades, the signs stop making sense. The death warning still comes, but it no longer reaches you. Comfort feeds delay. And delay is destruction in disguise. When you wait to feel ready, when you wait until it feels easier, when you avoid discomfort, you are choosing to ignore the signs. The signs that say, change now, move now, wake up now. Comfort convinces you that you can postpone transformation. But you can't. Every moment you wait, the damage grows. You think you're safe because nothing has collapsed yet. But by the time it collapses, you'll realize it started dying long ago. Your body gives signs. Your mind gives signs. Your spirit gives signs. But comfort keeps you too distracted to feel them. You numb yourself with habits that bring no growth. You distract yourself with things that feed no purpose. And you do it because it's easier than facing the truth. The truth is simple. The death warning doesn't come when things go wrong. It comes when things feel fine. Because fine is not a life. Fine is the disguise of decline, the beginning of decay, the calm before the tragedy. And if you keep telling yourself everything is okay, when you know deep down it's not, you are the one walking toward destruction, not by force, but by choice. Real growth does not live in comfort. Real strength is not built through ease. You cannot evolve by doing what feels safe. You must challenge yourself. You must enter the discomfort willingly. You must break your patterns. If you want to avoid tragedy, you must face the warning. And the warning is this: comfort is killing you. When was the last time you were fully awake, fully disciplined, fully alive. If you can't remember, then you're already in danger. That's the sign. That's the death warning. You are not here to just maintain, you are here to grow. And when growth stops, purpose fades. When purpose fades, life begins to rot from the inside. That is the path of silent tragedy. No blood, no violence. Yeah, just the slow death of potential. The ones who survive long term are not the ones who seek comfort. They are the ones who seek clarity, who respond to the signs, who feel the discomfort and move into it, not away from it, because they know that's where the change begins. That's where the real self lives. You are being warned, not by someone else, but by your own life, your energy, your behavior, your results. They are all speaking to you. Are you listening, or are you hiding behind comfort again? It takes courage to step out, to break routine, to face the silence. But that is what this moment demands. Because if you wait for comfort to end by itself, it never will. And while you wait, everything meaningful dies a little more. No more excuses. No more pretending you'll start tomorrow. The sign is here. The death warning has arrived. And if you delay again, you will feel the consequences. Not instantly, but absolutely. That is the truth. So stand up, confront the lie of comfort, move while you still have the strength to move. Break the patterns while you still have the time. This is your chance. This is the warning before the collapse. You either change now or you regret forever. Comfort is the quiet enemy. Don't let it be your final teacher. When the world is loud, you stay distracted. You keep running. You keep reacting. But when everything becomes quiet, the truth begins to speak. That's when the signs come. That's when the death warning is no longer hidden behind noise. Silence is not just emptiness, it's revelation. In silence, you hear what you've been avoiding. You hear yourself. Most people fear being alone, not because solitude is painful, but because they can't run from their thoughts when they're in silence. They can't hide from their truth. So the signs have always been there, in the way your heart races at night, in the way your chest feels tight when you wake up, in the way your thoughts loop around the same emptiness. But the noise of daily life covers it up. Work, social media, distractions, entertainment, all of it is a mask. But when it gets quiet, the mask slips. And that's when you face the real you, the tired version, the confused version, the lost version, the one who has been receiving signs for months but kept turning away. That version is not your enemy. That version is the beginning of your transformation if you are willing to stop running. The death warning doesn't always come as a loud event. Sometimes it comes in silence, a pause, a stillness that makes you uncomfortable. It's in those moments that you are most exposed. There is no one to blame, no one to impress, just you and the mirror of your own awareness. That's where the truth hits hardest. So you start to realize how far you've drifted, how long you've been moving without direction, how deeply you've been disconnected from yourself. It doesn't feel like panic. It feels like emptiness. That's the warning. That's the signal you're not in an alignment. And if you stay on this path, something inside you will break. This is the lesson most people avoid. They keep themselves busy so they don't have to feel. But busyness is not success. It's often just a distraction, a way to escape the truth. But that the truth doesn't go away. It waits. And in silence, it returns stronger than ever. You feel it in your bones. You feel it in your breath. You feel it in the heaviness of your soul. The voice inside you doesn't yell. It whispers. It tells you when something's off. It tells you when it's time to change. But if you only listen when the world is loud, you will miss it. You must create silence. You must face the stillness. Only then will you hear what truly matters. The moment you allow yourself to sit in silence without running, without explaining, so without escaping, that's when the real work begins. You begin to see where you lied to yourself, where you betrayed your own standards, where you lowered your guard, your vision, your energy. These realizations are painful, but they are the gift. That's the true warning before collapse. If you ignore this stage, the consequences will follow. The tragedy won't just be external. So it will be the loss of your connection to self. You keep functioning but without soul. You'll keep moving but without meaning. And eventually that becomes unbearable. That becomes the true death, a life that looks full but feels empty. When silence speaks, you have two choices: listen and rise, or ignore and fall. It sounds simple, but most people choose to fall, not because they want to, but because listening means changing, and change is uncomfortable. But discomfort now is better than destruction later. So the next time you feel uneasy in silence, don't run. Sit with it. Let it speak. Let it show you the signs. Your pain, your fear, your restlessness, they are not enemies. They are messages, death warnings. Yes, but not to scare you, to wake you, to call you back to yourself. And the silence will keep returning until you respond. You can fight it. You can drown it in distractions, but it will always return until you finally realize this silence is the door. Through that door is clarity. Through that door is truth. Through that door is the person you were always meant to become. But you have to walk through it. You have to sit with the discomfort. You have to face what's real. And if you do, everything changes. Not instantly, not magically, but deeply. Because once you reconnect with yourself, the signs become clear, the path becomes visible, and the warning becomes power. So don't fear the silence. Don't run from it. Use it. Let it strip away the lies. Let it expose the truth. Let it show you who you really are and what you need to do next. Because silence isn't just a space before tragedy. It's the space where rebirth begins, but only if you're willing to listen. Most people think they have time. They always say, I'll start tomorrow. Next week will be better. I just need a little more time. But that's the lie. That's the trap. There is no guarantee of later. The death warning doesn't come with a calendar. It doesn't wait until you feel ready. It shows up without warning, and when it does, everything can change in an instant. The sign is now. The pressure you feel, the restlessness in your mind, the sense that something isn't right. That's not just anxiety. That's a message. That's the warning. That's life telling you change or be changed you think you can delay. But every second you wait, you lose something. A part of your power, a part of your clarity, a part of your purpose. And eventually you lose control. Tragedy doesn't begin when something breaks. It begins when you ignore the moment you were supposed to act, that one conversation you avoided, that habit you kept justifying, that decision you kept postponing. You didn't lose because you were weak. You lost because you were too slow. You didn't respond when life gave you the chance. That's how collapse begins, not with force, but with hesitation. The sign doesn't stay forever. The warning comes in waves. It whispers at first, then it grows louder. Then it disappears. Not because the danger is gone, but because the opportunity has passed. You waited too long. You wasted the moment. And now the pain becomes your teacher. Now you have to learn the hard way. You say you want to grow. You say you want change. But when the moment comes, you freeze. You wait for comfort. You wait for certainty. But change doesn't come in comfort. It comes in urgency. And that urgency is now. This moment, this breath, this decision. Most people live as if they're invincible, as if they can stay the same and still avoid the consequences. But that's not how life works. Life does not reward delay. Life rewards action. Bold, honest, uncomfortable action. If you don't move when the sign appears, you will be moved by something much harder later. That's the rule. The death warning is not just about physical death. It's about the death of opportunity, the death of inner strength, the death of vision. And when those things die, you can still walk around, but you're not truly alive. You're existing. You're surviving. But inside, you're already gone. So stop pretending you have time. Stop thinking that one more day of delay won't cost you. It will. That's the sign. That's the warning. The way your body feels when you wake up, the way you've been avoiding that difficult choice. The way you numb your discomfort with distractions. All of it points to one truth. You are running out of time. The transformation doesn't begin next month. It doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins the moment you decide that waiting is no longer an option. That moment could be now. But only if you stop lying to yourself, only if you stop telling yourself you're okay when you're not. Oh, only if you stop making excuses for staying the same. You already know what needs to change. You already know what's broken. The sign isn't unclear. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is courage. Do you have the courage to act before the collapse? That's what this moment is about. That's what the death warning is trying to teach you. If you keep waiting, understand nothing waits for you. Life moves, energy moves, the world keeps going. And the longer you stay still, the further you fall behind until one day you look around and everything has changed without you. That is the slow death, the quiet tragedy. And it all starts with delay. Oh, don't wait for pain to force your hand. Don't wait until everything breaks to finally act. You've been warned. The sign is already here. It's in your thoughts. It's in your patterns. It's in the way your life feels. Now is the time to face it. Now is the time to shift. This moment is the last breath before the fall, the last second before life takes the choice away from you. If you act now, you still have power. You still have time. You still have freedom. But if you wait just one more day, you might lose all of that. And once it's gone, you can't get it back. You don't need more time. You need more truth. You don't need more comfort. You need more action. And the death warning has been given. What you do next decides everything. So move now, act now, change now, or don't. And experience what happens when you ignore the last sign, the final chance, the door before it shuts forever.